Craig Smoke.
We start this 4 o'clock hour very similar to what we did to start the 3 o'clock hour, joined by associate head coach at Baylor men's basketball, John Jakus, on Sic'Em 365 Radio and 365 Sports. What does that mean? First time you've heard it? We just mentioned it. Anything different for you?
One, thanks for having me, and two, I appreciate you talking about all the great stuff that happened with our staff today. And it's nice to be called associate head coach. I'm thankful for that and thankful for the way Scott supported me. But I think it's better because the title comes with my friend Alvin, and just doing it together means a bunch. And then Coach Nunes is one of my best friends in all of life. Obviously been a big part of the Drew family. He played for Homer, and for 20 years, he's helped that family and served them. So to see him successful is even better than any title I could have. And then, let's be honest, maybe the coolest thing about today is that Tweety Carter is a full-time Baylor Bear again. And, I would put myself last on that list. There's too many other blessings that happened today. But it certainly means a lot. But more than anything, it just means our culture of joy is in a great spot. None of us left. And we're going to stay together and just had a great guy in Tweety.
Let's talk about Tweety. I asked Alvin about him, and Alvin said that he's going to be enthusiastic, a great guy to have around, a great guy to have around players. And I don't know if I've ever met anybody who's as enthusiastically dedicated to everything he does like Tweety. So it seems to me that he's going to be a great coach almost right away. Yeah,
well, first off, if you're a point guard, you're a coach on the floor. So he's been coaching 8th grade. He scored 7,000 points in high school. And he was so bored with junior high, he just skipped junior high basketball and went straight to high school basketball. So in some ways, he's been coaching for 2 decades. But more importantly than that, I just think nowadays it's so important to re-recruit your own guys. And so you need guys on staff that understand what it means to love Baylor. But you also need smilers because, everybody wants things so fast and it's hard to stay unified and together and positive. And you're adding one of the most positive people, not just in the history of Baylor basketball, but just in general that I've ever met. And I think Scott's done a great job over his career with hiring, and I think he hit it out of the ballpark with Tweety.
John, I asked Alvin this, but what was it like to learn the news? How did Scott get a hold of you? Was it a phone call in person? And just kind of what was your reaction initially?
Yeah, Scott gave me a call and told me about it, and I said, Coach, that's great. Thank you for the honor, but I want to do this with Alvin Brooks. I won't do it unless he does it. And I actually know for a fact when he called Alvin did the same exact thing. He said, I'd love to do it, but I'll only do it if John does it. So I think, you're only as good as the whole, and promotions are great, but you're still as solid as the group is solid. And I think the fact that Alvin and I both put the other one first in those moments is a good sign of why we've been really good the last couple of years. And I'm thankful that Scott gave me that call, but it's a really, really special thing to me to do it with my friend, Alvin Brooks, in this season, this time.
You said Jared Nunes has been a friend for life, and you've known him a long time. In fact, he's been on that staff for longer than I guess everybody. Now that Jerome is gone, do you have a favorite, or can you get down to just one favorite Jared Nunes story?
I think Jared, the number one thing I was thinking about Jared, besides the fact that he's just done a lot more than people understand behind the scenes, even with recruiting, he played a big role in recruitment of Kendall Brown being from Minnesota. Freddie Gillespie's story doesn't start without Coach Nunes because Freddie's family friends with the Nunes family in Minnesota. So much of our success, even on the recruiting trail, is because of his long-term relationships. But thinking about being in Tweety's role and the role Jared just left, is that you're in charge of the Nike gear. So for like the last 13 years, every former player, every person that comes in our office, anybody who comes around wants free gear from Coach New. So I can tell you the number one thing he told Tweety is, I'm handing all the Nike gear to you, and now you can be Santa Claus. And just in general, you can't win in that role because there's just never enough gear to hand out for free. But besides that, I don't know that much of his role is going to change. He's just going to get a bigger opportunity to coach on the floor, which he's ready for, and he'll do a great job.
I mean, from the moment you got here, I'm sure you felt this with Coach Drew, but I mean, he is instantly making his coaches a family, and even guys come and go, he's retooling that. What's that like to step into day one and then comparing it to now? Does it change that much, or is it something you kind of feel growing as you go?
No, I think from the beginning you feel there's this legacy of responsibility. And because they kind of built this thing up after such a trial period and, a hard time in Baylor basketball history, from Coach Driscoll on, you're kind of stepping into this family. And Coach Drisk obviously moved on. Paul Mills moved on. Grant McCass moved on. Now Jerome has moved on. And the one thing you learn is you never root against your own coaching tree. And every one of their success is our success. And every time our team does well, it blesses everybody. And Coach is just really big on preaching the fact that you just don't ever mess around with your own coaching tree. And probably because his coaching tree started by working for his father, Homer, who's a Hall of Famer. And so when it goes from father to son, and then from son to Coach Driscoll, and then from Coach Driscoll all the way to us 20 years later, you're just stepping into almost like a legacy thing. And we're really proud to be part of that legacy. And today, it's a nice little step for my family and I. I'm not going to lie. We're thankful to Scott for giving us this opportunity. But the bigger thing is that our legacy and our family coaching tree has grown. And adding Tweety is the main thing. And we just want him to feel like this is the right thing and the best step for him. And I think he's thrilled, and we just can't wait to work together.
John, it's only been a couple of weeks, but have you had a moment to kind of sit back and reflect on this past season, or will that come here in the near future?
No, I think for about 5 straight days at 3 a.m, I woke up staring at the ceiling, reflecting on the season. For 2 years, you don't lose the last game because we were a 1 seed 3 years ago, and COVID took that tournament away. Then last year, we were a 1 seed, and we won the whole thing. So we haven't lost our last game 3 years. And the pain of losing your last game, you forget kind of what that feels like. It's brutal. And it's also kind of odd just because you're now dealing with this one and done thing with Jeremy and Kendall, and the season goes so fast, and you just want to kind of grab a hold of not only, the pain of the loss, but losing certain relationships and kids moving on. So it's been dramatic and fast, but more than anything, I think the main reflection is that we're thankful to cut down another net, winning the Big 12 championship. We're really thankful that we think a couple of our guys will end up being first-round draft picks. And being a 1 seed means a bunch, but more than anything, it's still hard to get over the pain of seeing LJ and John and Langston not get to play this year. And you're just feeling the weight of so many emotions at once. And we'll come out of that in the next couple of days with a plan for next year, and we're already building towards that. So, yeah, that first week after the loss is hard on you emotionally, but we've rebounded and we're in a good spot.
You obviously had people who signed with the class of 2022, and one of them is at the McDonald's All-American game. We asked Alvin about Keontae George. He won the three-point contest. But how much right now is just the focus on recruiting your own roster with so many guys who have decisions to make, and how easy it now is to come and go? Is that something you feel pretty good about where you are?
Yeah, we feel amazing about it. I think we're one of the best high major programs in the country and not losing kids to the transfer portal. We're going to remain being that as a staff, I believe. And then not just that, I think it's not just keeping your own kids, but now more than ever with NIL and the transfer market and the portal, you win and lose championships in April. And we need to be good general managers right now. We need to serve Scott really well. We need to think about how we can best have the best team back. But you kind of used to build this thing in the summer with high school kids, and now you're having to do it with high school kids, transfers, and then keeping your own. And April is one of the hardest working months. You're never not on your phone as an assistant, but winning and losing comes down to how you handle this month. So we're going to be excellent over the next 4 weeks, and I think we'll be really thrilled with what the team is and who's coming back by the end of this month.
What does it say that you have the kind of players, the level that they are, that they have decisions to make about moving on to pro basketball, if in fact they do?
Well, one, it means we're winning. 80% of the guys drafted in the NBA still play in the NCAA tournament, and they still come from winning teams. So you don't have guys coming off your bench like Jeremy Sohan in a top 15 situation in this upcoming draft if you don't win. You don't get 2, 3, 4 guys drafted if you're not winning at an incredibly high level. So the first thing it says is, as a whole, even in spite of all the injuries we went through, we still won. And then the second thing is just that, we've ended up with high character kids that know their roles and have NBA upside. And we just needed to keep doing a good job of finding those kinds of kids. And those kinds of kids already exist on our team. And just like people didn't see it until it happened with a couple people over the last few years, there's guys on our team right now, when they play basketball next year, people will be blown away at how good they are. So I think we do it by who we bring in through recruiting, but we also do it by our player development internally. And we're going to have a really good summer with our player development. So there'll be some surprises, and some of them will be the freshmen, because they're excellent players. But some of them are already on our team, and that's what we need to do right now is love the guys we got.
With Kendall, the kind of basketball world, when he signed with you guys, thought that he could possibly be one and done. Jeremy, since he's international, maybe people didn't know, but did you guys kind of have a feeling from the beginning that he would have that potential, or is it something that you saw, like the rest of the world did, maybe around the Kansas game, holy cow, this kid can play?
Yeah, I was part of the recruitment process with him, so I watched him since he was 16 years old, and I always got the sense that he was an NBA player. And then he played in prep school in Indiana as a junior. And then because of COVID, had to go back to Europe and played his senior year in Germany. And while he was floating around in Germany and no one could see him because the world was shut down with COVID, he grew 3 inches. And when you go from 6'6" to 6'9", but you maintain those same wing skills that helped him be the MVP of, FIBA under 16, now you're in a whole new class with this whole new upside. And then you add the fact that Kendall and Jeremy aren't even 19 yet. They don't even turn 19 basically for the first week of June. They're just really special, unique kids. And they've been given certain advantages by God that the rest of us don't have. And I think you'd have to be blind not to notice that. But more than anything, probably the thing we're most proud of is who they are as people. And we want them to be adults and loving people, and they're that. So they're ready for the NBA. It'll be an adjustment for them, obviously, because of their age. But I think for a while we knew Jeremy was going to be an NBA player. This fast, I don't know, but we knew it was coming.
John, can you give us a scouting report on Keontae George, who we're going to see later on tonight in the McDonald's All-American game?
Yeah, 6'4", 6'5", can get anywhere he wants on the floor, shoots 40% from three. People expect him to be a first-round draft pick. We know that we've got to do a good job with him, but the thing you're going to really learn about him and the people in his life, from his mother on through the family, is that they're really good Baylor people and that they love it here. And he had tons of options in his life. He could have gone a number of different directions, and he chose to stay in Texas, close to home, make family a priority. And who he is like a really solid kid. And just like Jeremy and Kendall probably shocked everybody, you're going to get shocked when Langston gets healthy, but you're going to realize how much a Baylor kid Keontae is. So the NBA stuff and all the comparison, people don't make that up. Okay, he's that good as a player, but he's that good as a person also, and we just can't wait to hang out with him every day because we know that he's as good a person as he's a player.
This might be a better question for Scott, but I'm not trying to put you on the spot. But do you know that some have already made their decision to move on to the NBA?
Oh, I think there's probably one or two that are thinking that way. But I'm not sure it's my job. They need to declare. They need to make their announcements. They need to, do their own tweets and videos. There's a whole thing that goes into the world now on social media, and I'm probably the least social media savvy guy on our staff besides our old veteran Coach Peterson. But we need to let the kids do their process. So it's not even about keeping secrets. I just think it's about
right.
letting these young kids sit with their family, think through it. And then there's this celebration. You know, everybody's celebrating Tweety today. They're celebrating Coach New's promotion today. I just think they deserve that celebration, so we're going to let them tell the world when they're ready what their decision is.
You mentioned what Langston Love can be, and obviously incoming Keontae George and all the others. How good and how much would it help with what LJ could bring to the table based on his health? He's had the surgery. He mentioned that this week, and the possibility he's back as well.
Yeah, LJ Cryer is one of my favorite people in the world, and he shot 47% from three, and he was our leading scorer. And I don't think anybody in the Baylor Bear community has forgotten that about him, but maybe some people on the outside have. And there's this leap that Davion and Jared made in their third year at Baylor, and they went from NBA prospects to this new stratosphere. And a healthy LJ Cryer in his third year at Baylor is going to make the same leap. And so for us, we're just praying for his recovery. And if we get that recovery, we're confident that he's going to make that jump. And we're super excited about his future. But more than anything, we just need him physically healthy. So that's what we're waiting on.
When Jerome Tang got the job at Kansas State, one of the first things you worry about is attrition. And for you and Alvin and Jared and others to now remain on staff says everything. And not that there weren't opportunities. Alvin was, you, others have had opportunities, but it really is a huge win. A huge win, John. Don't you think that everyone is staying intact?
Yeah. Scott Drew's been a good recruiter since a long, long time ago. And if people questioned in this moment if he wasn't going to pursue us with some fervency, they were questioning the wrong guy. And the truth is that more than ever, because of his success, he can really recruit not just staff, but players from a position of like joy and love and success. And that's what he did. He treated everybody so kindly in the last 2 weeks with such confidence. He knows exactly the kind of program he wants, how he wants it to look and feel and sound. And he's getting into this Hall of Fame, territory of his career. And when he comes in your office and he asks for help, you just want to do it. And a lot of us could have gone other places. We get different opportunities every year thrown our way. But the chance to stay here and continue to do it as a family, I think, was a wonderful thing. And when AB and I talked together about, taking the next step, it really was just about maintaining the culture that already exists. It's not even about us. It's about the bigger picture. So we're just here to serve, and Scott did a great job, and I can tell you he didn't lose any recruiting battles. And that just said something about Scott Drew as a leader.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time as always. Always a fantastic segment in so many ways. John Jakus, associate head coach at Baylor men's basketball, and we'll have Jared Nunez on. Find out if he's got any more of that Nike gear left. You could throw it into the studio if he wanted to. Tweety Carter tomorrow at 3:15. Mack Rhodes, Baylor Director of Athletics, is next. Sic'Em 365 Radio at 365.